Hello all, I am P.W. Ingre working as an assistant professor at Sanjivani College of Engineering, Kopargaon. So on today we will start unit number 2, that is impulse water turbine. Now in one of the video lecture we have discussed the basics of hydroelectric power plant, then classification of turbine, okay, and about Francis turbine, Kaplan turbine and Pelton and propeller turbine. Now we start some basic things. First of all, we'll discuss about classification of hydraulic turbine. Okay, so hydraulic turbine can be classified by considering various factors. Number one, head and quantity of water available. According to head and quantity of water available, before that, what do you mean by head? Head is nothing but height of dam. Okay, the simple definition is what? Head is nothing but height of dam. And quantity of water available means it is nothing but discharge. How much quantity is available in meter cube per second? That is nothing but quantity of water available. So it is according to H, that is capital H head, and quantity of water available, that is capital Q. So according to that, we can classify the turbine as impulse turbine. Now impulse turbine requires high head and low quantity of water. That is height of dam is high. Okay. Now the reaction turbine requires low head and high quantity of water. Okay. Now next parameter is name of originator. Means the turbine. Suppose Pelton turbine is invented by Pelton. That's why it is called as Pelton turbine. So according to name of originator, we can classify it as a Pelton turbine, Francis turbine and Kaplan turbine. Now according to action of water on the moving blade. Okay. So according to action of water on the moving blade, we can classify turbine as impulse turbine. So Pelton turbine is the example of impulse turbine. Then reaction turbine. So Francis and Kaplan and propeller turbine are comes under the category of reaction turbine. Now see in impulse turbine, the all pressure energy will be converted into kinetic energy in the nozzle, and whatever the high jet velocity we are getting, that we are used to rotate the turbine. Okay, and in reaction turbine, the pressure energy will be converted to kinetic energy partially in fixed blade as well as in moving blade. Okay, now next, hydraulic turbine again can have a classification according to direction of flow of water in the runner. So according to direction of flow of water in the runner, it can be classified as tangential flow turbine. So Pelton turbine is an example of tangential flow turbine. Now during this, whatever may be the flow of water in the turbine will be in a tangential direction to the rotation of rotor. Similarly in Kaplan and propeller turbine, the flow of water is in an axial direction to the rotation of rotor, and in case of mixed flow, that is Francis turbine, it enters in a radial direction and exit in a axial direction according to position of shaft. Okay, so it may be a horizontal shaft and vertical shaft. So normally Pelton turbine have horizontal shaft configuration, and Francis or Kaplan turbine have vertical shaft configuration. Okay. What is the comparison between impulse turbine and reaction turbine? So first of all, available fluid energy is converted into kinetic energy by a nozzle in case of impulse turbine. The available energy of fluid partly transforms into kinetic energy before enters the runner of turbine. Here, water before enters the runner of turbine, available fluid energy is converted into kinetic energy by a nozzle completely. Okay, here it is converted partially. That's why pressure remains constant throughout the action of water or runner, because all conversion is taking place in nozzle itself. But here, partial conversion is taking place in the say fixed blade or guide blade, and remaining conversion is taking place in moving blade. So that's why after entering the runner with an excess pressure, water undergo both change in velocity as well as pressure while passing through the runner. So that's why the rotor is having always pressure difference. That pressure difference is nothing but reaction pressure, and because of that reaction pressure, rotor rotates. That's why it is known as reaction turbine. Okay. Now next is, in impulse turbine, water may be allowed to enter a part or whole of the wheel circumference. In impulse turbine, water may be allowed to enter a part or whole of the wheel circumference. In reaction turbine, water may be admitted over the circumference of wheel. In impulse turbine, the impulse turbine always installed over the tailrace, so there is no need of draft tube. But in reaction turbine, unit may be installed above or below the tailrace, so use of draft tube is required. Now in case of impulse turbine, the relative velocity of water remains constant or reduces slightly due to friction, and in case of reaction turbine, due to continuous drop in the pressure during the flow through the blade, the relative velocity reduces. Okay. Now next, flow regulation is done by means of a needle valve fitted into nozzle, and in reaction turbine, flow regulation is done by guide vane assembly. This flow regulation is nothing but governing. So governing of turbine, in case of impulse, it is done by needle valve, and here governing is done by guide vane assembly. Okay. Now let's start with the unit number 2, that is Pelton wheel turbine. So Pelton wheel turbine is a tangential flow and it is known as impulse turbine because all pressure energy will be converted into kinetic energy in the nozzle itself, and you are getting the impulse or force having some kinetic energy, and it will flow in a tangential direction to the rotation of rotor. That's why it is known as, here I have written, the water strike the bucket along the tangent of runner. Okay. Next is, the energy available at inlet of turbine is only kinetic energy, and the pressure at inlet and outlet of turbine is atmospheric. Means what? All energy conversion is taking place in nozzle. So at the end of nozzle, you are getting kinetic energy. So jet with kinetic energy will be having strike on the rotor. So pressure at inlet and outlet of turbine is atmospheric. This turbine is used for high head. Okay. Now what are the constructional features of Pelton turbine? So here water from the reservoir flows through the penstock at the outlet of which nozzle is fitted. Reservoir means anything which is used to store the water. Okay. At the outlet of which nozzle is fitted. The nozzle increases the kinetic energy of water flowing through the penstock. At the outlet of nozzle, water comes out in the form of jet, and which strike the buckets of the runner. So now main parts of turbines are Pelton turbine are nozzle and flow regulating arrangement, runner and bucket, casing and braking net. So we'll discuss one by one. First of all, nozzle and flow regulating arrangement. You see here, this is the water coming from penstock. Okay, wheel, this is spear, correct? So by using wheel, if you rotate in anti-clockwise direction, it will flow in reverse direction. It will allow more quantity of water flowing through the to the turbine. Okay, if it will flow, it will, this spear will move in forward direction. It will restrict the flow of water. So the amount of water striking the bucket or vanes of the runner is controlled by providing spear in the nozzle, and this spear is operated by the hand wheel or automatically in an axial direction by governor. Okay, so in actual power plant we are using governor, and in laboratory experiment we are using hand wheel. Now next, when the spear is pushed forward, amount of water striking the runner is reduced and vice versa. Okay. Now runner with bucket. So figure shows the runner of Pelton wheel. It consists circular disc. You see here. This is the runner of Pelton wheel. Okay. So it consists circular disc on the periphery of which number of buckets evenly spaced are fixed. These are the number of, this is circular wheel on the periphery of which number of buckets are spaced, evenly spaced. The shape of bucket is a double hemispherical cup or bowl. So this is what the shape of bucket. Okay. Each bucket is divided into two symmetrical parts by dividing wall, which is known as splitter. The jet of water strike on the splitter, and splitter divide the jet into equal part, and jet comes out at the outer edge of bucket. So bucket are shaped in such a way that jet get deflected through 160 degree or 170 degree. So at inlet, the velocity will be, since the direction of water is what, in a tangential, okay, direction. flow of water is in a tangential direction. That's why initial velocity triangle is a straight line, and at outlet you are getting all components of velocity. Okay. Now casing. The function of casing is to prevent the splashing of water and to discharge water into tail race. Okay. Then next is it also acts as a safeguard against accident. It is made of cast iron or fabricated steel plate, and casing does not perform any hydraulic function. Then braking jet. Now what is the use of braking jet? When the nozzle is completely closed by moving a spear in the forward direction, the amount of water striking the runner is zero. So but the runner due to inertia go on revolving for a long time. So to stop the runner in a short time, small nozzle is provided which is known as braking jet. So very simple. When the spear will be here, okay, so it will restrict the flow of water, but the rotor will rotate because of inertia. To stop the rotor, we are using what brake nozzle. So these are the components of Pelton wheel turbine. This is what penstock. Okay, this is spear. This is nozzle. This is jet of water which is flowing in a tangential direction. These are the blades. Okay, this is the runner or rotor. Okay, this is brake nozzle, these are buckets, and this is casing. So this completes the basics of Pelton wheel turbine. So we'll stop here. In next lecture we'll discuss the velocity triangle and its analysis with related to Pelton turbine. Thank you.